So I'm at Leeds Crown Court, where these men here, let me see. Right, lads, how you feeling? How you feeling about your verdict? How you feeling about your verdict? How you feeling about your verdict?
What verdict?
How you feeling about the verdict? You got your prison bag for you?
Yeah, look at you.
Got your bags for you? You got your bags for you?
Yeah.
How you feeling about the verdict?
Oh, I suck your mum's funny.
Yeah,
You got no guilt. Is there any guilt? Is there any guilt, mate? Is there any guilt?
Fucking dad, you son of a bitch.
So, as you can see there, doesn't seem like much guilt. Doesn't seem like anyone's ashamed. I'm outside Leeds Crown Court, where today 10 men are facing verdicts. They're verdicts for alleged grooming and rape scandal involving hundreds of young girls, but there's 18 victims come forward. Some of these girls were as young as 11. Let me read you the list of charges that these men are facing. There's 6 more who are still yet to come here. This is part 2 of the trial, you see, because 29 men, 29 people, 2 women are involved in this case. 30% of them are called Mohammed. 3 of the men walking in here today are called Mohammed. The defendants today, Mansour Akhtar. He's charged with rape, attempted rape and 2 counts of trafficking. Mohammed Akram. He is charged with 7 counts of rape, 3 counts of trafficking, child abduction, supplying drugs, sexual assault and making threats to kill. Wikas Mahmoud. He is charged with 3 counts of rape. Nazarat Hussain. He is charged with 3 counts of rape, attempted rape, inciting a female to engage in sexual activity. Sajid Hussain. He is charged with 3 counts of rape, facilitating the commission of sexual activity on a child and inciting a child into sexual activity. Mohammed Ifraz. He is charged with trafficking a female within the UK with a view of her sexual exploitation, rape, false imprisonment, child abduction, taking decent images of children, inciting children to engage in sexual activity. Fasil Nadeem. He is charged with supplying drugs, rape, possession of extreme pornography. Mohammed Azeen, another Mohammed. He's charged with 3 counts of rape. Mansour Hassan Lockwood. He is charged with supply. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. You just. There's a rape trial going on, yeah? There's a rape trial going on.
Yeah,
Okay?
why is it your business?
There's a rape trial going on.
Why
Yeah?
is it your business?
So why am I a tosser for reporting on it?
No, you're a tosser for being you.
Yeah, go on. No, explain it. Explain it. What do you think? What do you think of the 29 young children aged 11 who have been gang?
It's not my concern.
It's not your concern. It's not my concern. They're young
just
English
a
girls.
wanker.
It's not my concern. This is the problem. You see that? It's not my concern. It's not his concern. Hundreds of young girls have been gang raped in our country, in every town and city across this country. Some of the men are alleged to be in court. The alleged perpetrators are in court today, and people need to know what's going on. People need to know these court cases are happening. Obviously, the problem is you have people like that who think I'm a wanker for reporting on it. Now, there is a reporting restriction on this case, so there's already been stage 1 of the trial. Think about how big these trials are. Think about the victims here. These victims, this trial only come to light in 2013 when a victim and her mother went to the police. These crimes were between 2004 and 2011. Now, obviously, back then, police ignored it. But I guarantee you the parents would have gone to the police in those same time periods. But these men, one of these men is actually working in a chicken shop, I believe. Currently working in a chicken shop in Huddersfield. Would you want your children going into a chicken shop where men are alleged to have gang raped and prostituted and trafficked and drugged young victims? Would you want them having contact? Anyway, we'll stay live. We'll wait for the other alleged offenders. I have to be super careful, you see, because when I was coming to these court cases, part of what the police did was they dawn raided me and they put me on a contempt of court charge, which would mean that I could face prison or I'm on a suspended sentence, because they don't want people reporting. They don't want the public watching these videos. They don't want you to see. You see the men walking in court there today. That man, who knows, he might get not guilty, but that man is alleged to have gang raped or been involved in rape and prostitution, etc., yeah, of young children. He didn't seem bothered, did he? In fact, he seemed aggressive, angry. Can you believe that bloke? Can you believe that bloke? He's walking past. I'm reporting on the fact that dozens of young children aged 11 have been groomed, raped and prostituted, and it's not any of his business or my business. It's not our problem. That's him. That's the problem. That is part of the problem. knows nothing about the case. Nothing at all. Yeah, could be his sister, could be his daughter. Until it is his sister or his daughter, that's the only time he'll probably wake up. Until then, it doesn't matter. As he told you, it doesn't matter. Scumbag. People like him are the reason this has been allowed to get away with for so long. It's no, what's it got to do with you? What's it got to do with you? What's it got to do with me? I'm an Englishman and they're English girls. They're women, they're young girls. And they're in our country and they're being groomed and raped because of that. It's got everything to do with me. Should we stay live? Officer, are these stairs... So if... I'm not allowed to go on those stairs, am I? Whilst recording.
As long as you're respectful.
This isn't the property of the court though, is it? No, it's this. Okay, so I'll stay off then. Cool. So, as I said, the first part 1 of this trial has already concluded because it's impossible to have a trial with 29 defendants at the same time. So this trial has been split into 3 sections. Part 1's already been concluded, but no one can report on whether they are found guilty or not guilty. Part 2 concludes with the jury are making their verdict now. Part 3 starts, I believe, in September. So these young children, after being raped, after being groomed, and their families, they then have to sit and watch for a year. A year. And the cost, think about the cost. Think about why they let these grooming scandals, why they ignored them. Do you know how much of a case it is to bring 29 men on a conspiracy charge and these sort of charges? Massive. The costs of 29 men with 29 barristers, with 29 QCs, with all these different things. The cost is huge. Do we have the prison places to deal with all of the men, all of the Muslim men who have raped across this country? No, we don't. That's why we don't deal with FGM either. But these are sort of like, in each town and city, they're picking out one group. But there's hundreds and hundreds that need dealing with. So, yeah, stay viewing if you want to see the other alleged men. They'll be here soon. And I'll be here. I'm at Leeds Crown Court. I'll be here. I'll be sitting in on the trial, seeing what happens with the verdicts. Unfortunately, I won't be able to report the verdicts, from what I understand. But I'll keep the footage, etc., to do a report. I'm also travelling to another city in the north of England tonight to spend time with campaigners who are trying to deal with this sexual exploitation and grooming. If you call it grooming, it's more, I refer to it as these scandals. Hold on. But they had their... God, it's grim up north, isn't it? Sunny in Luton. I just got some flip-flops on when I left home this morning. I left home whilst we're on here, whilst we're live. I will be travelling from this city to another city. I will spending time with groups, doing interviews, highlighting and showing people what's happening in towns and cities with regards to grooming gangs or rape jihad gangs across the north of England, across our whole country. I wouldn't be able to do any of that if it wasn't for the people who sign up to support me at tommyrobinson.online. So if you're one of those people and you're watching videos and you're seeing these news stories get highlighted or things the media are ignoring, then the only way I'm able to do that is through your support. I have George and Kaylan, 2 of my team, with me today. Kaylan's been sitting since 5 o'clock this morning when we left, editing a video that will go up today, which is an interview with the leader of the joint leader of Generation Identity. And I met him because the newspapers this week, I read headlines that said Heil Hipster, like Heil Hitler. So I thought, who's this man? And then one of them said, meet the new chilling face of fascism. I've seen all these sort of headlines about myself, so I thought I'd bypass the prostitutes, the bullshit media. I'd sit down with the man himself and ask him some hard questions or some frank questions about what his views are on race, on religion, etc., etc. So I sat down and spoke to him, and that interview will go live. Yes, that interview will go up today. And I think it's important to give you the other side of the story, and rather than you base your opinion of somebody on what the media tell you about them, surely the media should have sat down with him and asked him the questions that I've asked him. You'd have thought so, wouldn't you? But of course they don't want you to listen to him. They don't want you to listen to anyone who speaks out against mass immigration or against the problems that this country faces. They want you to base your opinion and judge him on what they tell you to think. So yeah, that'll go live today. And then we have this weekend, we're up north today. Sunday we will be interviewing a Polish politician who's coming to speak at Speaker's Corner. I'll be asking him his opinion of the situation in England, what Polish people think, Polish people who've moved to the UK, what they think of this country now that they've been here, what he hears about our country, and of course why he's at Speaker's Corner. The fact that we have given birth again to the Free Speech Centre of Speaker's Corner, I also would like to thank everyone who's been involved in that. Politicians. We could be waiting here a little while. They're not actually due in court till 10 o'clock, I don't think. But that's why I got here early, because I knew some of them would turn up early, like those lads there. Didn't really get the cleanest shots of them, but when I first come to try and show people who these men were, bearing in mind they've been walking around your towns and cities for the last 2 years whilst this has been going on. They've been working in shops, chicken shops, probably driving taxis, etc, etc. I thought people should know their faces and their identities. And when I went last time, you can see the footage, you go online, watch it. They turned up with balaclavas, they tried to get physical, and they all hid their identities. But because they've been relaxed, do you know why they're relaxed? Because look, there's no media here. There's no media here, there's no press here, there's no mainstream media. They're all taking photographs of someone who said something mean on Twitter. They're not here to find who these people are. They haven't followed these people. You know this lad who runs Generation Identity? I found out that the media had been harassing his family. Yeah? You want to harass someone's family? You see that man who was getting aggressive as he walked into court? The man who faces charges of child abduction, rape, prostitution. Harass him. Find him. Go knock on his door. Follow him. See where he works. See what he's doing. You want to stick pictures online and call people and slander people? How about you do it about them? Instead of doing it about someone speaking about him. Who knocks? That's what I said as well. Like, he doesn't even live with his parents. The young leader, he's 23 years old, doesn't even live with his parents. And do you know why I get quite frustrated about it? Because I know all the same things have happened to me. So I know what he's facing. Hello, mate.
And I agree with the stuff you say. I watch your stuff and that.
No, thanks, man.
Amazing, mate.
Thank you very much. Cheers, man. Thank you. So yeah, I get quite angry, because I just think his family are innocent, and they plastered the family's names all online. Why would you do that? They do that so that it causes. It's all disruption tactics. It's disruption tactics, and it's to disrupt your life and cause you maximum problems. So, for example, in the early years of my activism, I had my mum sitting down crying, begging me to stop. As I'm sure that young lad who I interviewed just yesterday or the day before, I'm sure his family have done the same now. And that's what they want them to do, which is why they've done it, which is why they highlight who they are, which is why they highlight where he worked, because he just lost his job. All of these things play a major part. It's all part of the operation from the far left to silence and stop people. A few more officers have turned up. We're getting wet. Let's go over here. So, do we have any questions? And yeah, you say, I can't believe that bloke, man. What a sad representation of Leeds for the first person who comes and makes a comment, and it's saying that it's got nothing to do with us. And what's it got to do with us? And he doesn't care. Doesn't care that 11-year-old children were gang raped and prostituted and everyone knew about it, police, councils. He doesn't care. Doesn't matter. Scumbag. Politically correct idiot. He cares more that I'm talking about. He cares more that I'm talking about. Hi guys.
Hello.
We're live. We have 3.6 thousand people. Say hello.
3.6, very good. Hello. Fantastic. Very nice.
Very nice. And do you miss them as they come into court? It's like, yeah, fuck your mother.
Yeah, just don't hear the video.
The difference is that most of these trials, which is the reason I come here today, not really about the perpetrators or the alleged perpetrators, more so about their families, because at each one of these trials usually, loads of their families usually come to support them. And then when they're convicted, the families shout about the young girls being slags. 11-year-old slags. They'd be children. But of course, under Islamic ideology, they're not children, they're women, as soon as they start their periods. So they see it as their own fault, and it's our fault that they're on the streets and they shouldn't have been out late at night, and all of these things that are our fault. It's nothing to do with the men abusing them. Or you hear certain politicians, I've seen certain politicians turn around and say that this happens because of opportunity. So the reason it's all taxi drivers is because of opportunity. Okay, well, don't all the non-Muslim taxi drivers have the same opportunity? But they don't do it, do they? In mass scale like this. So it's obviously not to do with opportunity. There's obviously another reason. There must be some sort of connection as to why 30% of the alleged perpetrators of these crimes in this one trial are named Mohammed. There must be. So if you want to raise these problems and eradicate them and get to the root cause of the problem, then you have to look at the problem and see what common. If it was any other crime, you look for the. If it was any other crime, you look for the common denominator, don't you? To try and erode the motives and what's happening. Any other crime, you'd be piecing this together, and you'd be asking why. But you're a bigot and a fascist if you do that same scenario with these sort of. Just so anyone who's watching this who don't know the statistics, 90% of grooming gang. This is a grooming gang, not paedophilia. The majority of paedophilia offences in the UK are committed by white people, as you'd expect from a 90% white country. That's what you'd expect, right? But in a country that has 4% of this population, 3% of the population is Pakistani, 4% of the population, or 5% of the population is Muslim. Now, out of that population, 90% of the grooming gang convictions are Muslim males. 90%. 30% are called Mohammed. These are statistics, they're facts. These are not Tommy Robinson's views, they're just facts. And I know a lot of people don't like facts, but they're facts. So, that's the reality. And that's only going to get worse and worse and worse as the police get to grips and try and tackle these gangs. Rotherham, if you look at Rotherham alone, Rotherham where 1,400 children were raped. Some more statistics. Rotherham alone. Rotherham, I think, has been used as a scapegoat city because Rotherham probably has one of the least amount of grooming in the north of England because it has a very small Muslim population. Just 3,500 Muslim males aged between the ages of 18 and 50 or 60, which is the grooming, which is the age that was given for these men. Some children raped by 20, 30 men in one weekend. So in that small Muslim population, you had 1,400 children were raped. A minority, is it? So if you went to bigger cities, now the same sort of inquiry that resulted in the Rotherham report has been being called for in Bradford, but they're refusing. The government are refusing. They're refusing Telford. There's not many Muslims in Telford, really. Not really. Not compared to Luton or Birmingham or Bradford. But again, Telford, huge. That's some Muslim lads who are just saying, it's not us, it's not us. It's not us. Because that must, yeah, and the same again, listen, if you're watching this, yeah, and I'm talking about Muslims, I'm talking about Islam, I know some Muslim lads who would be as outraged growing up, yeah? So I'm not, and again, I'm not portraying it as all Muslims, yeah? There's a problem. The majority of grooming offences are Muslim. The reason and justification given for it can be found in the Quran. All of these things play a role, I think, in these sort of cases. So I talk about them. But to think that every Muslim, or I know some Muslim lads who would want to do to them the same as what every other man would want to do to them. So, and I meet, on my day-to-day, I meet hostile Muslims, but I also meet a lot of decent Muslims who have a sound chat with me, who say how frustrated they are with what's happening. But most of them, you find, don't follow the doctrine or the scripture of Islam. If they did, then it wouldn't be as... So yeah, my problem, again, just to clear their record, my problem's with Islam, with the teachings. It's not with individual people. In fact, Winston Churchill said individual Muslims can show amazing traits, but it is Islam that will bring them backwards. The rain stopped. If you're watching this, give it a share. There's 4,000 people watching it. If every single one of you shared it, this would reach a lot more people, which means more people would see the faces of the accused child rapists as they come and enter into court. Now, I'm walking a thin line because basically the police put me on this. I'm on a suspended prison sentence, which was supposed to be to prevent me or deter me from reporting on these sort of cases. I think that it's important that people understand just what's going on. When this case was on the other day, there was a couple of Muslim lads in here for terrorism, and guess what? They all went and sat together, of course, and shook hands and had a friendly chat, and you saw, which I've seen at every case. You know, when I've been to the cases at each court and I've been into the court, if there was 10 alleged white paedophiles or non-Muslim paedophiles and they were sat there, would the non-Muslims in that court be going up, shaking their hands and talking to them? Would they? No, they wouldn't. But the opposite plays a part in this court, in these sort of cases. How you doing, you all right? I'm not bad, thank you. That, I'd say, I guess there's there. I guess that's their solicitor. And what you also find in most of these cases, in fact all of them, that the Muslims who are facing charges use Muslim lawyers every time. In fact, on this actual case, when I first turned up at Huddersfield Magistrates Court, you may remember, if you watch the videos, the Muslim lawyer, the female Muslim lawyer, come out and said, just go away, go away. She started getting very angry with me as well. And she said, what is it to do with you? She said, so what? I said, they've been raping children. They're alleged to have raped children. She said, so what? So what? So what? Oh, of course, so what? Because they're not Muslim children, are they? Easy? Of course you can.
No, I don't want to be put on there.
You're not a bit on there?
No, but I have a selfie with
Go on then.
How can I have a selfie?
Go on then, go on then. No, it's not. It's facing that way, look.
Pocket.
Go on then, there you go.
Hold on, 1 minute.
See you later. We love that.
It's just really cute.
Oh, mate. How you doing, mate? You alright? Yeah, of course you can, yeah. No worries.
Good to meet you.
Ah, nice one. Thanks.
I watch your videos.
Cheers. Oh, here you go, system. 1 sec, mate. No, it's not. Yeah, go on, mate. Yeah, I am, yeah.
I'm guessing it'll be on.
Yeah, that's it. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
I'm guessing it'll be on Facebook.
It will be, yeah.
You're live chatting now.
It's live now, yeah. You don't want to be on there, do you? Hold on. All right, mate. They're in at 10. What's the time, lads?
5 to 9.
Yeah, they'll be here soon. They have to get it. You'll get here early, won't you? Well, the others went in already. How many of them went in that car? 4 of them. So there's 6 more to come. Is there the bald? There's a big, like, muscly little bald one. Yeah. Is he on this trial? Yeah. It's quite funny because the muscly little bald one, when he was at court, and once I got the video of him at his court and people saw him at court, I then got contacted by people who knew him in Huddersfield. And apparently he's a lad. Does all the MMA fighting. This is the difference. He's one of their main sort of lads. One of the main lads. Like, not a weirdo, Pete.
Sorry,
it's all right. Right. Yeah, of course you can, yeah.
Cheers,
mate. No worries, thank you. Yeah, so let's keep sharing. Again, if you're just joining us, there is a court case today where 10 men are expecting their verdicts. This court case involves 18 young girls, some as young as 11. There were actually, I believe, hundreds of victims in the Huddersfield area. must be 18 young girls that they got to come forward. This all come after, some of them aged 11. The men face charges of prostitution, abduction, drug abuse, all these sort of charges and offences. In this case, there's 29 perpetrators, 2 women, 2 Muslim women on this trial. Not this part, but they're on part of this 29 trial. 2 Muslim women. All of them are alleged to have been involved. So all of them are innocent until proven guilty. And 30% of them, if you're just joining us, are called Mohammed. They are from majority Pakistani community of Huddersfield, and these rapes happened between 2004 and 2011. So today's the verdict. I believe the jury went out yesterday to decide, and I don't believe there's more police turning up. Again, the police obviously aren't there because they think I'm going to be hostile, because they obviously know I'm not. I guess they just believe that. This is different because there was another case, there was a Somalian case for the similar rapes in Liverpool, and when it come out of court, loads of Somalian women come out of court screaming and shouting about how the girls were slags and etc, etc. So, no, mate. Well, I'll know who they are because they should have their prison bags with them when they get out. The problem I have is that a young Asian gentleman just walked into court, and he could be one of them. But it would be extremely unfair, and I've learned my lesson over the years. It would be extremely unfair if I pointed the camera at him when I actually don't know if it is him. So, well, mate. And so, is this them? Let's see. Nope. Nope. It's not. I'm sure by now their friends would have rang them, and they'll all be darting to shops to buy masks and scarves to cover their faces. Nope. So, some of the charges, if you've just joined, you'd have seen as the first 4 men went into court, one of them told me to fuck my mother. Or fuck my father even, maybe. Something perverted and strange like that. It was also quite aggressive. And then a young white, one of the men on our side, the fence, as part of the problem, walked past and said, you're a fucking idiot. At which point I asked him why I'm a fucking idiot, and he said, this has got nothing to do with you. And I said, but loads of young children have been gang raped. Do you not think that's got something to do with the public as well? We've got concern. At which he was saying, no, it's not. It's nothing to do with me. It's nothing to do with me. Oh, you're right, mate. It's nothing to do with you. So you just keep sitting in your lounge, watching EastEnders and pretending that nothing's wrong with what's happening. And everyone who talks about what's wrong, you keep calling them fucking idiots, mate, because that'll solve all these problems. The point is, in the early days with Rotherham, with Telford, you see these big scandals, they make national news. Now, what's happened is it makes local news. So there can be massive gang rapes, and just ask yourself this, if someone says something racist on a train, it makes national news. So why, every single time, are these sort of cases not being followed up? Why outside court today are there not dozens and dozens of national media waiting? Why are they not trying to approach these criminals, or show where they live, or show where they work, or show what they're doing, or why? Yes, 6.2 thousand people live. That's a good viewing. Thank you. If you're watching it, share it, because the more people that talk about this, the more people that understand what's happening. If I ask you questions, as general members of the public, who probably of you are a lot versed on these things, was you aware that an 11-year-old girl in the city of Oxford had an iron rod heated up with the letter M? It was scalded and burning hot, and then it was imprinted on her bum because she was the property of Mohammed in Oxford. Was you aware that another 12-year-old girl had her tongue nailed? Nailed. Do you know if he's? No? Another young girl had her tongue nailed to a table. 12 years old. One of these young girls was continually gang raped at the house directly opposite the mosque. Directly opposite. So people used to go pray in the mosque, and then when they leave the mosque, they'd go have their time with their sexual slave, because that's what she was. She was a sexual slave. The actual name of the road is actually Mosque Way, if you translate them. Yeah, there's a court case. Yeah. So, yeah, just everyone in this country should know. Everyone should know these sort of cases and what happened. But they don't, do they? The general public generally don't know. Would you know that the first ever religiously motivated murder conviction, would people know this? The first ever religiously motivated conviction was in Scotland, a young lad. What year was it? See, I should have got the statistics up before I talk about this. A young lad called Chris, 50, I think it was on McCulloch Street, 15 years old, walking down the street, completely innocent, dragged off the street, put in a car, drove around, stabbed. I think they cut his genitals off and fed them to him. They stabbed him. They set fire to him whilst he was still alive. The reason they murdered him was because he was white. That's the reason they done it. They fled the country. Many of them fled the country. Some of them are in jail for it now. Some of them are out of jail. Some of them have gone on to commit more crimes since getting out of jail. But how many people in Britain know about that? Everyone knows about Stephen Lawrence, and rightfully so. But how many people know that a young 15-year-old white kid was taken off the street for being white, set on fire, burned, mutilated, tortured for hours and hours and hours by a gang of Muslim thugs? How many people knew about that? Did the media tell you about it? Because I'll tell you what it was. When that come out, it made no national newspaper headlines in England. None. A young kid's been mutilated off the street, tortured, burned. How many people knew that in Peterborough, a Muslim ran down the street shouting bin Laden, and stabbed to death another young man? How many people knew about that? How many people knew about Gavin? There's so many of these cases. There's so many incidents where the media representation on what happens and whether it's fair media portrayal is just bullshit. It's like, hold on a minute. Do you know what happened? So there was another case of a young lad. You all right, mate?
Respect.
Thank you. Cheers, man.
Good work.
Thanks a lot. Thanks. There was another case. And I remember reading another case where a young boy was murdered by Muslims. And the front page of national newspapers was about England footballers being called monkeys. Now, that's bad, and it's not fucking on. Yeah? But page 17 was about the young lad who got murdered. So it's like, come on, man, get your house in order, media. What are you doing? You sensationalise bullshit. That's what you do. Someone says something or gives someone a dirty look or makes a stupid comment. You sensationalise it. The police as well. You go after them. I'm just hearing about Amy. I'm trying to work out what happened with Amy. Amy is a girl from Speaker's Corner who was arrested in her house for perverting the course of justice. From what I understand, she's had an argument with someone and she said, have a gay day, as she walked off. How does someone face criminal prosecution for that? How is that? Mental. This is the new hate speech laws and hate crime. But if you implemented real hate speech laws, or the hate speech laws, then the Quran and every preacher and every imam and every mosque in this country breaches and breaks our British hate speech laws. But they're exempt from them. They're exempt from them. Any imam who's promoting the verses in the Quran and scripture in the Quran, there's over 110 of them that call for murder. Any imam doing that is breaching British hate speech laws. Why are they exempt from them? Why, when we watch undercover documentaries and we see real, genuine hate being promoted, genuine intolerance in madrasas and mosques, why do those people not face prosecution? But yet, you go after everyone who puts up a tweet or something. It's the hypocrisy. It's why tens of thousands of people joined us outside Theresa May's house. Because people are fed up. Offence is choice, and it's my right to offend. I'm offended. You know, when I hear this, I get so wound up. Yes, but they were offended. Yeah, well, I'm offended. I'm offended every day. I'm offended every time I walk down the street. Every time I see a niqab walking past me. Every time I see gangs and gangs of Muslims standing peddling heroin on the street corner with no police touching them. I'm offended daily. I'll give us a shit if we're offended. It doesn't matter. God, to see these people walking into court, a couple of lads walking, it's not a good feeling, is it, man? Anyone who's been in that situation, not, and this, yeah, the pressure. Oh, are you one of the 6 men who are waiting to come into court? Are you watching this? Because soon you'll be live to 7,000 people in a minute, and that will be shared and shared and shared. If you're watching it, share it. Share it, share it, share it. By the end of the day, hopefully millions of people have seen the faces of these alleged offenders. Can I talk openly? I can talk openly. No, I can talk about what the parents are doing tonight, can't I? Yeah. So tonight, we're not. So tonight. No, I won't. No, I know that. Yeah, I thought that. So tonight, I'm going to meet parents, mothers, fathers who are patrolling the streets to prevent Muslim grooming gangs in a city in the north of England. This is what, so parents now and residents now feel they can no longer rely on police in these issues, and they're patrolling and highlighting and trying to combat this epidemic of child prostitution and attacks on children. So I'll be going there tonight, meeting with them, bringing you a video to show you who these brave people are and the work they're doing, showing people around that this is what. And if you don't know what, there's a group within the Sikh community called Sudha Punjab. I hope I said that right and correctly. It's SP. Hashtag, so SP. And in the 1980s, or even the 70s and probably 60s, when Muslim gangs were targeting and grooming young Sikh girls, the Sikh community got organised. They got organised. They organised.
Can I just say, that man up there just wanted that to me, because that is quite offensive. Like
The man up there threatened to kill you.
Yeah. And I just said I had nothing to do with it.
Officer, did you hear that? So a man just made threats to kill her. The Muslim man there.
If I did that, I'd be locked up for it.
And you're innocent. You're just.
I'm nothing to do with it.
There's nothing. Yeah.
I don't even know who I am.
So this is just a lady standing outside court, and the Muslim men who are all at the window are telling her she's dead. Of course. I'm on that way, lads and ladies. Oh, mate, how you doing, you all right?
Your wife's a prostitute.
My wife's a prostitute. My wife's a prostitute. My wife's a prostitute. All of the remarks so far have been sexual, haven't they? First one said, fuck your mother. This one says your wife's a prostitute. Issues, serious issues. Anyway, Sudha Punjab, the Sikhs in the 1980s or early 80s, 70s, they formed an organisation, and basically what is labelled as a gang. It's labelled by some as a gang, and it was formed to prevent and tackle the Muslim grooming gangs. So then what happened was, well, lads, I'm all right, mate, you? How you doing, you all right? Yeah, nice to meet you. Right, mate, how are you? Yeah, of course, man, of course.
Love everything you're doing, mate.
Cheers, man, thanks, mate.
I'll do it back here, I'll just spot you.
What's that?
I want to come to a march or something.
Yeah, there's none planned at the minute, but there will be, yeah. Cheers, lads. Thanks, boys.
That's right.
Cheers, man. Cheers, bro. So, yeah.
Can I get one?
Yes, no worries, hon.
Sorry, when you finish live streaming, can you give me a shout?
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, mate. So, there's the Sikh community got organised, and many of there's across the country, volunteers come forward. Yeah, no worries, mate. Yeah, thanks, man.
These are legends.
Thank you. Cheers, man. Thanks, mate. Yeah, so the Sikh community got organised, and basically what seems to have then happened is the Sikhs are still being targeted, but the Muslims went for the easier target because there was resistance. So at times, and some men I think are still in jail for the battles and the wars that went on in the 80s and 90s that the media didn't tell you about. Thanks. That the media didn't tell you about. In Birmingham, the city of Birmingham, which I believe is where Sudha Punjab was formed, it was formed as a resistance, and men and volunteers come forward to defend the women of their community. They come forward, and they've done it if they needed to physically, yeah. And that put the Muslims on the back foot. And still to this day, there was a court case just 2 years ago where I think 17 Sikh men, I believe, were sentenced to prison after a Sikh girl was gang raped and groomed and prostituted. The police refused to deal with it. The Sikhs then targeted the businesses that the girls were raped in, and then the police dealt with it, and then the men got sent to prison for raping the girl. But up until the point of violence, and you say violence, I'd say defence, against what was going on and against the protection of their daughters, then the police dealt with it. And even in that case there, what happened was, so a restaurant and 2 houses were targeted. These were restaurants and houses where they had been raping young girls. And the chief inspector of Leicestershire Police come out on the news and said, we want to quash the rumours. It's rumours, unfounded rumours about grooming problems in this area. 3 weeks later, they arrested the Muslims for raping the girl, targeting the girl. So the copper lied to the public, as usual. They lied, but then they had to deal with it because... How you doing, mate? Yeah, of course you can, yeah. Cheers, mate. No worries. Thanks, mate. Pretty much most people, everyone who's come walking past, they put their hand over their chest for their company and say, I can't be seen getting photographed or can't be seen agreeing. But yes, so Sunni Punjab formed a resistance. They are still active today in defending Sikh girls. And I say, like, over the years, and you can go back and find news articles. Yeah, this is when you realise how long this grooming problem's been going on. News articles from the late 70s, early 80s, where they're interviewing Sikhs who's saying these Muslim boys are targeting. They're pretending to be Sikh. They even wear the Sikh bangle. They pretend to be Sikh to get the girls into compromised positions where they get footage of the girl. So one of them might pull the girl, become girlfriend with her, become boyfriend with her, be all really nice, 17, 18, get an image of her, and because of the honour, if that's the right word, because of the honour within the Sikh community, they've then got that girl. Because then they threaten to put it on Sikh websites and Sikh things, and they know that girl's future and whether she'll be married within the community. That it all raises a risk. So then that girl is pretty much theirs to do what they want with. This is the tactics they use. There's an organisation called Sikh Awareness Society who travels this country, travels Sikh temples, and for years people didn't listen to him, even within the Sikh community. People didn't listen to him. People believed it was religious intolerance because of etc, etc. And only when Rotherham scandal come out did people realise, shit, these guys are right. These guys have been doing this and voluntary with no government support. The Sikh Awareness get no government support, no government funding, self-funded by the Sikh community. They don't just help Sikh children, they help all children. In fact, I was hoping Mohan Singh, who's an amazing gentleman who carries a great aura around him, who leads this charity. There's also the other communities are all active. They're getting organised. I went to a talk at a Hindu temple in London. There was a talk about grooming, and the police come and apologised to everyone. They stood there and I watched. The top police officer said, "We're sorry, we fucked up. We haven't been on it," and they apologised to everyone. Then I walked as they showed a documentary about grooming to educate all the mums and sisters. All the women were there to be educated on Muslim grooming gangs. Yeah, and I thought at the end, this is great. But where's our warning? Who's apologising to us? This is great for the Sikh community, great for the Hindu community, yeah? Great, they're organised. They're having these seminars. The police are coming and apologising to everyone. They're teaching teaching the daughters and the mums about what's happening. So where's the teaching in our community? Well, why are the church not holding these seminars? Why are we not getting shown? Why are the police not turning up at our community centres? How you doing, mate? You all right?
Right, how you doing?
I'm all right, thanks. You?
Yeah, I'm good.
How you doing?
What are you doing over here?
I'm here for a court case, lads. You look smart. Very smart.
Yeah, we're working.
You're working, yeah? How you doing, boys? You want to say hello?
How we doing?
How we doing?
All right.
You're right.
That's good. Yeah, no,
What's going on?
There's a grooming court case going on. There's 29 people on charge. 10 of them are up for verdict today.
What are you in charge for?
Raping girls as young as 11. 18 girls
That's messed up.
are part of this trial. But I think there was hundreds in Huddersfield. So,
yeah, okay.
in the city of Huddersfield, there's 29. So, yeah, I'm here just to report, to let people know these court cases are going on. This is what's happening.
Needs to be stopped.
Needs to be stopped, lads, doesn't it?
100%.
Definitely does.
Well, have a good day anyway.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
All right, cheers.
See you later.
I lived in Luton too.
Did you live in Luton? Where'd you live?
I lived in
When you was young?
no, I lived there for 2 years while I was in college.
Oh, did you? What college?
I went to Luton City.
Oh, did you? Luton?
Yeah.
Bradgers Hill? Or Barnfield? Yeah.
Bradgers
Hill, yeah.
I lived in LS4.
What?
No, LS3.
LU3? LS3. LU3, yeah.
LS11 is Luton.
LU.
Sorry,
Yeah, LU3.
Was that,
Sort of Lucy Farm area.
what's before Lucy Farm?
We got Hockle Ring. Marsh Farm?
Was it Leeds? Not Leeds.
Yeah,
I think it was Leeds.
Leagrave, Leagrave train station, near the McDonald's.
Yeah, that's right.
Marsh Road.
Yeah, me and Marsh Road.
Did you like Luton? What was the sixth form like now?
Yeah, it's cool.
It's alright,
I
yeah?
enjoyed it. I only moved for a few years, but I was from there, Portsmouth originally.
Oh, you're from Portsmouth, yeah. And now your sister went uni where? In Luton. When you have ended up here working?
Yeah, my family moved up here.
Oh, did they?
So it's just cheaper up here than down south.
Yeah, much cheaper, isn't it?
Yeah, so we just moved up here.
Yeah, fair play.
Can I get a picture with you?
Of course you can, yeah. So. Cheers, lads.
Fantastic. Have a
Cheers, boys. Have a good day. You see, what's quite funny is, of course, mate, of course.
I've been watching you around the hospital, mate. I thought I'd come down and show you some support. You're doing a wonderful job, mate.
Thanks, mate.
I'm surprised there's not many more people out here. Keep up the good work.
Cheers, mate.
Well done,
Thanks,
Tommy.
man. Cheers, man. Thanks. What's quite funny is, cheers, mate. Thanks. What's quite funny is the only people who are at work here that feel comfortable. Now, hold on one sec. The only people who are at work, everyone else who's walked past who's at work has either hid their logo or said I can't be seen getting pictured. The two young non-white lads, they're happy to because they can't get called a racist or an extremist. It's bad, isn't it? But my mates, a lot of my friends don't tell publicly in their work offices that they're very good friends with me. But I've got one mate, a black lad, who I went to school with, called Dean, who proudly just says, "Hey, he's my best mate. What are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about." There's all these arguments to that, but he can. You know what I mean? He can. We are just waiting for 5 more alleged child rapists to enter court. If you're watching this, give it a share. And 8,000, you know, this is the most people I've ever seen on my live stream watching. So, thanks for sharing it. Tonight, I'll bring you a video coming soon. It'll be on tommyrobinson.online, it'll be on YouTube, it'll be on Facebook. The video will show you the families who are coming together and forming organisations to patrol the streets to prevent young girls being groomed and raped. We also have another story which we're working on, which is another grooming scandal similar to Telford, similar to Rotherham, that's been covered up in another major city in the UK. We have addresses that we're hoping to stake out for as long as it takes, because we know young girls are being brought in and out of them. The people we're talking to have reported this constantly to the police. In fact, just last weekend, a young girl was come screaming out of the house at 2 o'clock in the morning, a child. Police done nothing. They're being called, they're not doing anything. We've got hopefully email evidence to this, that these have been reported since 2006 against these perpetrators, and nothing's been done. But these cases and these things I wouldn't again be able to work on, or have the time to work on, or have a team to work on them, or be able to research them without the people who go online and give us support at tommyrobinson.online. So if you're one of those people, know every time you watch our video, you done it, not me. It's that we're a people's media channel. For the people, by the people. By the people, for the people, whatever. But yeah, we don't have any big backers, so we have no one telling us what we can cover and can't cover, which we used to have. Now we do what we want, we cover what we want, we go where we want. And the main things, and I think the place we need to be, is on the street in most instances, because it's on the street where I'm meeting the people. You know, the people the media don't want to talk to, the people they should be talking to, the people affected by these problems. Yeah, share it. Get up to 10,000 live people by the time these next alleged offenders walk through these doors. Again, anyone watching this, the men are innocent until proven guilty. Their reactions all seem they're all sexual and abusive. Do you know what? Like, every time I've ever been to court, ever, there's herds of press and media standing outside, photographing and harassing me. There's no media here. Not one single journalist. outside this court. Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. We're all Leeds, aren't we? I was a fanatical Leeds United supporter, which is the city I'm in, for my sins as a child. I used to love them, man. My dad used to take me up here as well. In the David O'Leary era, for any Leeds people watching this, which was when Leeds were flying high, man. Flying high. That's your man there, look. The baldy one, isn't it? Is that, have you seen him? Is that him? Yeah? How you doing, mate? What are you in court for today, if you don't mind me asking?
I've been seeing your mum.
You've been seeing my mum? Another comment about a woman. What are you in court for, mate? How's the trial gone? How's the trial gone? Yeah, how's the trial gone? We just, how's the trial gone, bro?
I'm the one in court.
You're the one in court, yeah? Why is he carrying your bag then? Anyway. Another comment about your mum. That's every single alleged person who's walked into... Cheers, mate, thanks. Every single alleged person who's walked into court today has made sexual references about women. Strange. I have to be super careful because the police, somewhere right now, there'll be a police officer watching this video saying, can we fuck him? Can we pull him? And what they did me on last time, which was bullshit, was a contempt of court charge where basically 5 Muslims had gang raped a young child who asked for directions. They took her upstairs into their chicken shop and they raped her. I found out about this and I found out that those 5 men were all on bail. Well, one of them absconded to Afghanistan or something like that, and they got him, but he was remanded. The rest were out on bail. So I found out they're on bail, and then guess what? They're still running the same chicken shop. So I went down to the chicken shop, they locked up the chicken shop, and then I went to the court case. And I stood outside the court, and I said to the police officer, hold on, the people in this community and the people in this town need to be aware that these men are alleged to have gang raped a child. There's still young children going in that chicken shop. So I'd say that the judge failed to protect the British people in that case. Those men should have been... They're all convicted now. They're serving 20 years. They all got convicted. So why were they walking around on bail? Why were they running a chicken shop? Why were they still out? Why? People get remanded for fuck all. Why were they allowed to continue running a chicken shop, dealing with young children in and out of their shop after gang raping a young child who was lost? Why? And because of that, I was dawn raided by the police and I faced charges where, thankfully, to people donating, I had 2 of the best QCs in the country and I got off with a 3-month suspended sentence, which I'm currently on now. So if the police can pin anything on me, I'll be going to jail for 3 months. Now, don't feel sorry for me, feel sorry for Paul Golding and Jada Franson because they're both in jail for that exact same case. They went to the, I don't have to say alleged rapist, the child rapist's house, the man who raped a young girl who's serving 18 or 20 years in prison. They went to his house and they went to alert the neighbours. And because Jada Franson, I think, called him a Muslim rapist, she's been sentenced to 16 weeks in prison. Basically. And Paul Golding, I believe, has been released from prison, but this is what they've done to me. He's been released from prison for that offence. He's got conditions. He can't send emails, go on Facebook. He's not allowed to do fuck all. When I was released from prison for a so-called mortgage offence, I was told I was not allowed to contact anyone from the English Defence League. Now, what the English Defence League got to do with a mortgage fraud if it wasn't politically motivated? And even when there was a funeral, and I explained my friend had died, I was told I couldn't go to the funeral. Do you think both of them were on charge? Do you think both of those lads were on charge? One of them had a bag, yeah. They look like police officers. I'll be absolutely screwed if I get nicked. There's a lot of police officers here now. We're nearly at 9,000. If you're watching this, give it a share. Get some more people. Let's get up to 10,000. Keep sharing it. Keep sharing it. Keep letting people know that these court cases are going on every week, up and down our country. Every week. And they haven't even scratched the surface of the amount of men. For example, in Rotherham, where you had 1,400 children raped, there's been like 10 people convicted. 10. 10. 10. Listen to the go. Actually, 10. Think about it. 10. 1,400 children raped. 10 people have faced charges. Listen to some of the girls' interviews. One of the girls was raped by 30 men in one weekend. So there's another 20 men just off that one victim that you need to prosecute, but you haven't. Are those two? Have you seen those two in court? Don't know. Yeah, might not be, though, innit? Cheers, mate. Thanks. Well, lads, what are you in court for, lads? What are you in court for?
Spectators.
Are you just spectators?
Yeah.
Are they your mates?
Eh?
Are you mates?
Yes, mate.
They are. See, this is the difference. Like, these are friends. So I didn't put it on them. If they're not alleged to have done anything, then, but they're here as friends and spectators to support men that are alleged to have. Are they all up there? Oh, we've got. I wonder if I'm allowed. I can video up there, innit?
Yeah, you can.
We have windows full of them all now. Oh, they're hiding. Yeah. We're at 9,000. We're at, that's a good live viewing, isn't it? 9,000 live. It's good. Let's, I'd like to, so spectators, I don't know, you know what I'm a bit concerned is, because I know that if there's a reporting restriction, then no one, we can't let you know, so I'm not going to be able to do it live. For the verdicts, when they get their verdicts, I can stay here before the case, but when they get their verdicts, if it happens today, then the reaction of their friends, then which I will get, because I will question them, you know, the spectators, the two lads who just walked in who are spectators, I'll ask them some questions about how they think it's acceptable to come and support alleged. Well, we'll see what happens, but I won't be able to share that with you until the reporting restrictions are lifted, which I don't think they're going to be lifted for another possibly 6 months. Yeah. $9,200. Keep sharing, man. Get up to 10,000 just for the last couple of whether it be spectators. I should have showed them their faces, shouldn't I? But I wasn't sure if they're up or not. In fact, I knew they're not up because they haven't got their prison bag. There was another lad. I don't know if you've got pictures of who's on this trial for the case. No one's took pictures of them. It's a fucking joke, isn't it? You'd be if it publicised anything. Publicising. Yeah. No, is that with? Oh yeah, you're not allowed to publicise the verdict.
No, pictures.
Oh, the pictures.
Yeah, and the names.
Yeah, but every
Pictures and names are out there, though.
pictures, names. Yeah, you're allowed to. Every other person who goes to court gets their picture and name publicised, don't they? Oh, he hasn't got a prison bag. He must be a friend. Or him. What? What was it? Which one? Oh, mate, what are you in court for?
Fuck yourself.
What's that? What are you in court for? Come on, mate.
Why did you just touch him?
Come on,
I
I've
no right to do that.
It's an assault.
He had no right to put his hand on him then.
If I put my hand on him, would I have been arrested? Just serious question. If I put my hand on him, would I be arrested? If I pushed him? If the next one who comes up, if I walk up to him and push him, will you arrest me? Will you?
Give you a warning.
You'll give me a warning?
Yeah.
You didn't give him a warning?
I can see it.
You didn't see it? Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
You didn't see it either, no?
You weren't very close to him, were you?
No, I weren't. No, I'm as close as I am to you. You're not pushing me.
Come in. As we were saying, it was definitely a mixture.
Let me see. That's the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said he wasn't.
That said, yeah. Yeah.
Let's get our place up there now. I'm threatening to kill me.
You should go say, do you know which one threatened to kill you?
Well, I've asked him.
Do you know which one it was?
I can tell you the time again.
Was it the one in the grey tracksuit top? Yeah. Just say to the officer, I want to make a complaint. He's threatened to kill me. If someone threatened to kill one of them, it'd be a hate crime. Will you get his details so you know who he is?
I can't leave where I am now.
Well, you can radio through and get me down, surely.
So this lady's been outside court and one of the Muslim gentlemen has been telling her she's dead, she's dead. Now the problem is, I don't think that's that, but if that was a Muslim woman and young English men were telling the Muslim woman she's dead, they'd be arrested on a hate crime and the police wouldn't be standing there. Just like the gentleman who just pushed me as I walked through. I'm not that bothered that he pushed me, if I'm honest. It's nothing major. But if you reverse the roles, you'll probably be nicked. We're at 10,000. We're at 10,000. If you're just joining us, if you're just watching us, there's 10 men in court who are alleged to have been involved in child prostitution and grooming. This trial involves 29 people, 27 of them male, 2 of them female, 2 female Muslim women, 27 males, 30% are called Mohammed. This is an ongoing situation in our country where basically, not to do with this case because no one's been convicted of this case yet, but if we look at previous cases, if I give you not what I say, I'm not going to give you my comment, I'm going to give you the perpetrators, the men. The Somalian man in the Bristol grooming scandal said it was his religious duty to do what he was doing. Many of the men in the Rochdale and Rotherham ones worked at mosques, taught at mosques. There's a funny article where one of the men who's currently facing trial for allegedly planning to kill Prince George, William's son. So the Sun newspaper, and I've got both these articles. So online they said mosque teacher, because he was a teacher at a mosque, you see, but he's a terrorist, right? So by the time, later that evening, they've got rid of mosque teacher. So it just says his name. So they've obviously been told they have to remove the fact that he's a mosque teacher. Now he is a mosque teacher. He's teaching Islam. His teachings have led him to want to murder a young child. Because he's a kafar. But yeah. Da 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 da. Some lad walking past me probably thinks I'm filming him, but I'm not filming him. I'm filming myself. But he's walking past with his wife. I wouldn't film him. It's just a Muslim fellow with his wife. But he'll probably understand if I'm irate because he probably thinks I am filming him because my phone's pointing like that. It's not. Anyway, these cases, what's happening is basically, which if we didn't see Boko Haram's leader says Muhammad commands us to take non-Muslim women as sexual slaves. So we have Boko Haram's leader saying that. ISIS done exactly the same. First thing they've done, took all the women as sexual slaves because they're allowed to. So in the scripture, they're allowed to. What it actually says, I've been through this with many Muslims, in the Quran it says, outside of your 4 wives, you can take whatever the right arm possesses, i.e. slaves. Okay, so they can take non-Muslims. Muhammad did it. Okay, so Muhammad's the perfect moral compass for Muslims. He took sexual slaves. He took sexual slaves. His wife Sophia was taken as a slave after he murdered her husband and beheaded him. So, if we see these sort of things in scripture and then we see a massive over-representation of Muslim men in child sexual grooming gangs, we should look to try and wonder and work out why. why is this happening? And could there be some sort of link? Possibly. Of course, the minute you try to do that, you're shouted down, you're screamed at, called a bigot, and all you're trying to do is solve a problem to try and save some young kids in the future. But of course, it's got nothing to do with Islam. That's all we get told. Nothing to do with Islam. So... Thank you if you've shared this. We've gone to 10,000 people live. What does Nebraska mean, Ken? What will get a bit... Obviously, I'll turn my camera off, but when the last perpetrators or alleged perpetrators go into court, I'm going to go into court. I'm going to go into court. I want to watch what happens. Yeah? Oh. Is she with me? What's that? Are you family? Definitely. Don't know, so I won't show her. There's some Muslim hijab wearing women going into court, but I don't know that they're there to support these men. So I think it'd be unfair if I stuck cameras in their faces or asked them any questions. Once I've been into the court case, once I go in the court case, once I see who's there for them, then of course when I come outside the court afterwards, I will question them. I will speak to them, see if they've got any sympathy with the young 11-year-old children, whether they stand by their family members, whether they think what their family members have done is wrong, or whether they think this is all one conspiracy to get them because they're Muslims. What's the time? And what's my battery saying? Kaylin, you ain't got one of those charger things, have you? What's the time?
It is...
Oh, you got one wicked.
It's only 9:35.
So they've got 25 minutes then, yeah? Thank you very much. Cheers, mate. Yeah, it's all right though. What's up?
So, are you still live streaming?
Yeah, I'm going to live stream until the last people come
How
into
long do
court.
you think you're going to be? I don't want to get in the way.
You don't know what?
I don't want to get in your way.
And that's all right. What do you want? Just talk or
Selfie.
I'll just do a selfie, mate. It's all right.
I'll ask you a few questions as well.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, I'm going to literally film them until they come in. I'm going to live stream it. And then as soon as I've live streamed it, I'm going to go into court to watch what happens.
Yeah, let us do it now then.
Yeah, Sam.
Because more people will turn up.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
Um,
God, it's cold, isn't it?
I know, crazy. I was spoiling this.
Is that their solicitor? Oh, no. Oh.
You want to have a photo with my GI sticker?
That's all right. Are you in GI?
No, I will be. I went to the conference from Seven Oaks.
Yeah, I just interviewed
Leeds yesterday,
Yeah.
Caleb told me.
yeah, nice lad.
Do it on video. But I'm going to help Alex.
Do you know the best one? What some lad come up with his camera and he said, "Can I just have a photo?" And I said, "Yeah." And when he got so I'm facing, he's there. He said, "You're a fucking wanker," and I was like, "Yes." All right.
on your video?
What's that? No, you're not. No.
That's all right.
Do you don't want to be on there? Yeah, and he said you're a fucking wanker. And I thought it was absolutely brilliant. It was quite original as well. Because can I have a selfie? And it's like, "You wanker." And I was looking at him as he's saying it. We were both looking at him.
Cheers.
Yeah, we were both looking at it as he's saying it. So. Oh. Oh, it's cold, isn't it? Oh, they've got 20 minutes now. 20 minutes to be in court. What's the time, George? 22? 22. The judge?
Just staring at
Oh, no.
It's like the judge, the clerk, and all the
Look.
This isn't contempt of court, is it?
No.
It's definitely not, is it?
We haven't said anything that...
I haven't said anything that's already out there in the public.
No.
I'm just saying there's a court case. See, I shouldn't even have to worry about it. It's quite worrying. It's worrying because...
It's worrying that you've got something.
I know. It's worrying because...
We know there'll be extra strict on you.
But there's nothing they can do, is there?
No.
It's all information that's out there.
It's all information that's out there. Everything I've read and everything I've said is... I've said they're alleged. I've said they're innocent until proven guilty. All I'm doing is giving me a fact and not in any way trying to prejudice the case. It's worrying, isn't it? Because the judge is looking out the window. You are allowed to do this, isn't it? I haven't done anything wrong, am I? No, I'm not, am I? No.
No, I think it's just... Again, it's nothing that could prejudice the case.
Yeah, but with the last contempt of court case trial, there's no jury. It's just a judge. So the judge can say whatever he wants. When I went last time, I thought, well, there's no jury. So who does...
Tommy, you've done it online as well, so you've done it on the stream. There's not...
Yeah, what's that?
The judge admitted in the counter briefing that you hadn't actually broken the law.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, sounds, yeah. I thought so. I was just making sure I was right. I was getting a bit worried then. It's grim up north, yeah. No, I'm fine, thank you. Cheers. Parking's up in 20 minutes.
Oh, we don't know.
Yeah, but not in the car, innit? I want to go into court. I want to see what they'd say at 10.
Just going to run in.
Yeah.
We've got so much time to kill anyway.
Yeah, we've got ages, so I'll have to go put another 5 on the car. I need to get 5. Yeah, I know. Got 5 ones. This will be them. Let's have a look. Is it? I'll end up walking in court and the judge will hold me in court. Can't happen, can it? I haven't said anything, have I? Recognise that lad, no? Oh, mate. What were you in court for? Are you about... Okay, no.
For robbery and
sorry,
stuff,
man.
so.
Yeah, okay. I know that. I'm only... What's that? He's a lawyer, isn't he? Yeah, but remember last time I was in Huddersfield and he said, I'm a solicitor. And I thought, hey, he looks very smart. He probably is a solicitor. I went in the court. He's sitting there as one of the groomers, bro. I thought you'd done me because I didn't get a photo of him because I listened to him. Oh, the lads going in with their prison bags. Oh, man. Horrible, isn't it? Almost 10,000 people. This is the verdict. So the trial's ended, the jury are making their mind up, and this is the verdict. This is the verdict today. So I can see someone. Yeah, mate, yeah. Yeah. You doing all right?
What's going on here? Pedophile.
Yeah, 29 of them on trial. It's 2 women.
Yeah, for grooming, innit?
For grooming 11-year-olds.
Look, yeah.
For allegedly. Grooming
Still
11.
doing ADL thing.
Nah. Just doing this. Just doing like a.
Gets done too much, don't
Just
it?
doing the media, mate. Just trying to show people who are watching.
Yeah.
This is what's happening. This is what the case is. This is how many girls were victims. This is what they've said, and this is what they've done.
Dirty bastards, are
Yeah, mate.
What fucking hanging?
They'll
That's
get
all I
trapped.
can... I'm swearing.
It's
The
all
one
right.
hanging.
No, no.
Like kings and
What
that.
fucking...
Oh, they do it in prison. I know. You've been in there.
Just got out.
You just got out. What was it like?
Shit.
Oh, this is for you. Quick 2 minutes with these.
Are you going to arrest me?
Michael is going to explain what's going to happen next, right?
Am I being arrested?
You are being arrested.
I am being
This
arrested.
wasn't a breach of peace.
I've caused
content of the.
I've caused a breach of peace. I'm being arrested.
But the content of what you're
Can we just say
streaming.
The content of what I'm streaming. I'm being arrested for breach of the peace. I'm being arrested for breach of the peace. You've all watched this. You've all watched this. You've all watched this. You've all watched this. Can you get me a solicitor? Can you get me a solicitor?
Can you just turn off your live feed?
Can you get me a solicitor?
Turn off your live feed, please.
Yeah?
Do you understand what I've just said to you?
No, can you explain it again?
Do you understand suspicion following the breach of the peace?
What does that mean? What does that mean, officer? What does that mean, officer? What does that mean, officer? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?
I've been told that from the feed on Facebook. Yes.